In this exercise, we're going to teach you how to place down columns over an architectural background. The first thing you must do is open up your PractiCAD exercise template. Once you've done that, let's focus down here in the lower left corner where we've got this column on the crosshairs here. You can see where we've zoomed in. We must first design a column that matches the one on our exercise template. To do that, let's go into the architectural bin, go to your column icon. Remember that you might have a column in a different place on your bin. In this tutorial on my desktop, it happens to be right here. Find the column icon. We're going to click on it, and then you must adjust your parameters as you see here. Depth should be 12.75, flange width 12.125, flange thickness 0.875, web thickness 0.5, and we've got here a height of 120 inches. Once you've done that, make sure you click the Save as Default key to save the settings for this particular column. When we have all those parameters down, let's place a column on the drawing just like we've got here, and then I'm going to place another one on the drawing which is also rotated. So we're going to rotate one and we're going to place another one on the drawing just like this. So we've got a column that matches the one in our drawing. We got one that's rotated. Now what we're going to do is a layer isolate command. On my screen it happens to be here. It's a little key called layer isolate. On default AutoCAD you want to go to the Home tab on the AutoCAD ribbon, and you should have a button right here called layer isolate. When you click on it, AutoCAD is going to ask you to select objects on the layers to be isolated. Choose not only the column you've just created but also the one on the drawing, and then hit enter. When you do that, you should have just the columns on the background drawing. What we're going to do now is copy the columns over to a few different places so that we can use it. To do that, we're going to click on the first column we've designed, and then we're going to use the copy tool, which is also on the AutoCAD ribbon Home tab. It's right here. You can even type in copy, and there are separate tutorials on the copy command. We're going to click on copy, and then we're going to hold by the corner point here. Notice that we've got the node available. The node snap is available if you have your O snaps on. And then just simply copy it directly on top of the columns on the drawing. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to copy it over by panning the drawing and copy it over to these three particular columns. Then we're going to hit escape, and we're going to do the same thing with this column that we have rotated. We're going to select this column, hit copy, hold it by the end point we'd like to copy it from, the base point, and then we're just going to copy it to the one on the left. So what we've got currently is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 columns already just copied and pasted. I'm going to delete the 2 original ones. And now what we're going to do is just do a layer unisolate. So we're going to come back up here to the ribbon. We're going to choose unisolate, and that's going to simply bring up the PractiCAD columns right here. So what we've done is we successfully built and copied a column on the drawing. Now what we're going to do is simply attach one steel beam between these 2 columns. To do that, you're going to want to go into your architectural bin and grab a beam. In this exercise, I'm going to grab a W16 by 67, and I'm going to hit place. You can choose a different architectural beam because your choices could be different than the ones you see on this tutorial. what we're going to do is come over to the item box. And we're going to want to make sure that the steel tab is depressed. And we're going to want to hold by the bottom center. So we're going to hold this steel by the bottom center. Notice that in the elevation box, currently I have 0 feet 0 inches. So the current elevation we're holding this steel by is actually at 0. But what we're going to do is go up into your item box, depress the column tab, and make sure where it says snap to, we have Z top. Once we've done that, we're going to come back to the 2 columns we'd like to attach between. And I'm going to hold down the shift and I'm going to right click. And we're going to isolate the endpoint node. Now that node should be available. You can see it right here as I zoom in. The node is available. And since we have snap to set as top of column, this particular beam we have is going to be already on the top of it. And then what we're going to do is just pan the drawing, come over to the next column we'd like to attach to. We're going to hold shift and right click again to isolate the endpoint. And once we see that endpoint lit and we get a confirmation, we're going to click one more time. The only thing we need to do now is choose a rotation. You could see in the box it says specify rotation. I'm going to type in 0, enter. You can see here now that we've got the column at the right height and we've got the beam bottom on top, bottom at 10 foot. So we've done this successfully. That'll conclude the exercise on placing down columns and then placing beams on top of them.